What's going on, Salt Strong Nation? Today I want to talk to you guys about a little bit of an unorthodox but extremely effective strategy for targeting redfish in just a couple inches of water. Now, conventional wisdom tells us when we see redfish belly crawling and tailing around, we need to use really slow finesse presentations with jerk baits and slow moving lures, and I don't think that's the only answer to targeting redfish in the shallows. In fact, one of my favorite lures is just about as loud as it can be. It's actually a topwater lure. Now, this is the Salt Strong Moonwalker. This is a lure that we do make here. You can get it at fishstrong.com, but I recommend any topwater that you use with this presentation. It has single inline hooks on it. Reason for this is, again, we're fishing in just a couple inches of water, and it's important that you have something that's not going to get snagged or pull weeds around and affect your presentation. But this is eye level with the fish, especially first thing early morning in the summertime. They cannot resist this thing. Most of these fish are feeding off of feel and the vibration in the water rather than what a lure looks like, and I can't think of a better lure to use. In fact, I'm going to show you guys some footage right now so you can see exactly how effective this strategy can be. There's some tails. I'm looking at tails right now. This should get hit. This should get hit. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Come on, little buddy. Dude, he charged it. He charged it.
Well, maybe I ought to put on a spook.
He charged it from a mile away, man.
That's a lower spot.
It's a decent one. He's not terribly big, but he charged it, dude. I saw him tailing. So a couple things I want to touch on about using topwaters in this style of presentation. It is really best reserved for early morning, just as the sun's rising and the water is still cool. In the period that we're in, late summer, fish really don't feed heavily in the shallows during the middle of the day, and sometimes even in the evening they're slow to get up into the shallows because we know they're cold-blooded. Their feeding areas can be dictated by temperature. If it's too hot in the shallows, they're likely just going to feed on the edges of flats, in the creeks that are a little bit deeper, things like that. So I'd really reserve this for first thing in the morning, just as the sun's rising. If you're not sure whether you should be throwing topwater or not, I recommend that you use your hand as a guide. Place your hand on the horizon, and if the sun is above your hand, I would stop throwing topwater and switch to a different type of bait, such as a paddle tail, maybe a jerk shad for those shallow water scenarios. But that is the guide that I use. Put your hand on the horizon, and if the sun is not over your hand, you can still throw these topwaters. That's when I find that this is the most effective, because the sun hasn't heated up those shallows too much, and those fish will still be up there active and feeding, and it's also not high enough to where it's going to be hard for them to look up and hit that topwater. The thing y'all need to know is when to set the hook with these topwater lures. Don't set the hook when you see the blow up. wait till you feel the actual weight of the fish on your line, and then you can lay into them, because there's a good chance when that redfish comes up and takes a swipe at these top waters, they're gonna miss it the first time. A lot of these fish aren't very great at hitting top waters. In fact, redfish's mouths are not really designed to feed upwards. They're more angled downwards. So most times they will miss this plug. Sometimes they'll send it a few feet in the air. You just need to continue walking that dog until you feel the weight of the fish. Even if you see your plug go under, you need to still wait and continue walking that dog. In fact, that's what just happened in this video. I got a blow up, still waiting to feel the weight, waiting to feel the weight. The fish was actually swimming towards me, and then I could set the hook into him, because sometimes that fish will pull the top water under the water, and that fish will not actually be hooked up on the lure, but you need to continue walking it. A lot of times it'll come back up to the surface, they're still tracking on it, and then they will hit it again and you can actually get the hook set. Now I'm gonna mention it again because it's a really critical part of this presentation, and that's making sure that the top water you're using has these single inline hooks. This is probably the most important piece of the presentation, because you don't wanna be getting snagged up on grass with treble hooks, you don't wanna be pulling around any kind of debris. It's not only going to affect the actual walk of the dog, you might not be able to even walk it, but fish will likely see that grass and be turned away from wanting to strike that lure. And then lastly, just the hook set power that you're going to get with single inlines is way better than treble hooks. You're putting all of your hook set power into 1 or 2 hook points instead of 3 or 6 with the trebles. And it's less likely you're gonna get your hands snagged up or your clothes snagged up. Really, I would just say that you switch over to these inlines. These are the owner inlines, the 2/0s. We have them at fishstrong.com at 20% off, but this is just a much better option in terms of what hooks you're gonna use, just because you can get up shallow, not worry about snagging, you get better hook set power, and it's less like you're gonna hook yourself. So definitely recommend you pick some of those up. But that's really gonna wrap up everything that I've got to share about using these top waters in really shallow water for these reds. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You learned a lot from it. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I can get back to you there. But if you want to learn more awesome fishing tips on how to catch more redfish, trout, flounder, and snook, I highly recommend you join us at saltstrong.com. And if you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we're the best online fishing club in America, because we literally guarantee we're going to help you catch more fish while saving time and money on your tackle. We do this by providing you with premium education, a private insider community with thousands of reports published daily, and discounts on the best saltwater fishing tackle in the industry right now. So we're looking forward to seeing you join us in the Salt Strong Insider Club soon, and thanks again for watching.